everyone. My name is Johnson Babalola. I'm the group managing partner of Top Market Attorneys, a law firm that is based in Toronto, Canada. At this law firm, we handle different areas of law, including immigration, business, litigation, real estate, workplace investigations, and refugee law. And today, we'll be talking about a topic that's extremely important: tips on preparing for refugee hearings. This is one of those topics that we thought would be extremely useful to our viewers because it is a part of the series that we had put in place called TPM Talks. In this talk, we talk about different things that relate to legal matters. And it is my hope that many of you that will be listening to us and be viewing us today will benefit from this, one thing or the other. But I'm not doing this alone today. I have with me one of our extremely important and reliable staff members, a graduate of Immigration Consulting Program, Ms. Adrianna Sarmiento. Adrianna, how are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you doing? Thank you for having me. This is really great, to just offer some great tips for our viewers.
Always a pleasure to have you, and thank you for all you do, not just for this firm in supporting the partners and all of us, but most importantly for our clients. And your knowledge is extremely important today, and I look forward to having this conversation with you back and forth for the next few minutes. All right?
Sure.
Well, I just wanted to say to our viewers, it's extremely important for everyone to know that we are not giving legal advice today. That's not what we're doing. If anyone needs legal advice, we will ask them to speak to their counsels, immigration lawyers or immigration consultants. All right? So let's get going. One of the things that is important in refugee law is that you need to get it right. You need to be prepared. You need to prepare yourself, and you need to get it right from the beginning. And often people kind of don't know how to really prepare for their hearings, and they get caught up somehow, and they're like, well, I didn't know that. So hopefully we'll be able to tell you one or two things today. And the list of what we're going to talk about will not be exhaustive. So that's important. So it will always depend on a case-by-case basis. And but the first thing I wanted to talk about, one of the tips which is extremely important to me that I wanted to speak about, is that you need to decide whether you want to self-represent or you want a professional or someone else to represent you. And of course, it's within your right to self-represent, and that's fine. However, if you wish that you want to be represented by someone else, then you need to decide whether you want a paid professional or an unpaid one. An unpaid one can be a family member or someone, some other professionals that work within the community that are willing to assist you and support you all through. It can be a friend or anyone else. You can also settle for a paid professional who can be a lawyer or an immigration consultant. And it is very important for you to actually do your research and find out about the knowledge of whoever is going to represent you at the hearing, because it's extremely important for that individual to be competent in representing you. But that would be the first thing I would want everyone to kind of note and bear in mind. All right. Adrianna, do you have anything you want to say to our viewers?
Sure, absolutely. I agree with you that solid representation is from the beginning. And after, the claim has been done, they provided with the basis of claim form, it's important to have a list of documents. So this will be important to let the member know the reasons why a person is making a refugee claim. And what we do here, right, is we provide a list of documents, and it depends on case by case. So there is not a specific list that fits everyone. So it's a case on case basis. And among some of the documents is like supporting letters from people that they're aware of what happened back home, medical reports, if any, police reports, if any, and identity documents. I think that's one of the important documents that a claimant needs to have to prove who they really are.
Thank you so much. That's extremely useful, and quite often people don't really pay attention to the kind of documents that they need to get. And I say to people that even if you get a list from your council, you still have to sit yourself and ask yourself, are there other documents that I need to get to support my refugee claim? But even before that, one thing that is extremely important is that you need to lay a solid foundation to your claim. And I say that because refugee claim is like building a house. And if the foundation is solid, then when you build the body of the house, things will be better. It will stand well. Let me put it that way. And how do you lay a solid foundation? When you're making your claim, there are some forms that you'll be completing, the port of entry forms, Schedule 12, the Schedule 8, generic forms. All those forms are extremely important. You need to pay attention to what you put into those forms, because if you make some mistakes or some errors in those forms, they could affect your hearing in the end. So pay attention to that. Pay attention. If you have an interview with an officer, when you're making your claim, pay attention to what you say, and because there must be consistencies between what you say and what goes on after that. Beyond that, you also need to bear in mind that the minister can always intervene in your matter, and they can intervene for various reasons: identity, criminality, credibility, or whatever the reason might be. So the minister is always a party in a refugee claim, and basically it's like a silent party, but they can basically come out and show their voice at any time. So that's important. Adrianna, any other tips you want to tell our viewers?
Yes, so often, when the claimants are filling up their documents at the port of entry, because of the rush, they might omit certain things. So it's good that after, they have filled the forms, it's good to go over after they made the claim. Because sometimes if on that day, they might miss a certain detail, later on they can find like, oh, I forgot to add this address, or I forgot that I went to this place, or my dates of employment were not correct, or the schooling dates were not accurate. Because at the time, maybe they didn't have their school documents, and when they requested from their country, they see like they don't match at all. And then a person will be like, oh my God, now none of my documents match. What should I do? So it's okay to amend documents, but we suggest that, okay, take a look at everything. Because sometimes, today you might see, okay, I found this error, but then you might have a different perspective the following day and say, oh, there is more errors, right? So I guess just, take a good look at your documents and take a good look at your forms. So like you say, consistency is a key.
Absolutely. Consistency is very important. You have to be consistent. You have to be consistent. What I say to people and to clients generally is that when you put your narrative together, when you complete your BOC and all those things, and you sit with your lawyer, you go through your story and all those things, you really have to go through the narrative and the BOC over and all over again before they get submitted. You need to be able to know there are errors here, this date is missing, this information is missing, I forgot it. So you want to be as detailed as possible. It's extremely important to be detailed, to remember your dates, but if you don't remember, that's okay, but timelines are extremely important. So you want to be able to do that. But in addition to that, just like following what Adrianna had said, it's also important for refugee claimants to know that they can amend and update their narrative and their BOCs before their hearing date. If you have been here for like a few months or few years or whatever, or something had happened since you came here, you needed to update, you needed to inform your counsel or inform whoever is representing you, or if you're representing yourself, to inform the board, so that the board will know that this had happened, A, B, C, D had happened, my life is still in danger, and these are the reasons why my life still remains in danger. So it's extremely important for individuals to be able to follow through on that and keep focused on the fact that, refugee process is forward-looking, and you want to continue to ensure that your story is told and Nobody else can tell your story better than you. So you tell your story the way it is. All right, Adrianna, any other tips that you want to share with our viewers?
Absolutely. So once, like you say, that the refugee claim is a foundation, right? So you build your base with your narrative, and then you build the walls with your supporting documents. And then another element will be your testimony, which also has to be consistent. And then, the RRB also has information packages about the country conditions of each country. So it's good that as a claimant, they take a look at those packages, because they have information on how IRB thinks that the country works, right? Because they might say, okay, for instance, this country, they have the police force, they have, it's a big country, you can relocate in another part of the country. So it's important to know all those issues, how the police works, mobility of the people, which is very important, right? When a person goes for a hearing.
Absolutely. It's really important to be familiar with the National Documentation Package, and that is public information that is on the Immigration and Refugee Board website. So, refugee claimants, you always go there and check them out, and they relate to almost every aspect of claims. It's important to be familiar with that. But I mean, one point I wanted to speak to, which is extremely important for me and for us in this firm, is the fact that you need to prepare yourself. Quite often, refugee claimants just put all their hopes and everything on their lawyer, and that's it. No, you really need to prepare yourself. You need to be familiar with your own story. We are all human. We forget things, and things happen that we have to remind ourselves of those things again. So you have to. I tell my clients, there's nothing wrong in standing in front of a mirror to ask yourself questions. Put yourself in the position of the member and say, if someone had brought this narrative to me, this story to me, what questions will I ask that person? So you need to focus on some things. My identity. Do I have enough documents that speak to identity? What are the reasons for my claim? And did I delay in leaving my country? Did I delay in making a refugee claim? And if I did, why? So you need to have reasons for all these things and sequences of events. Events happened. When did they happen? The timings and all those things. Timelines are extremely important. Did I not claim? Did I have an opportunity to claim in another country and I did not claim in that country? If yes, why did I not? Reavailment. Did I return back to my country or some other place when I knew that my life was in danger in that place? So why did I return? So credibility as a whole, consistencies. You look at your documents and you ask yourself, are there inconsistencies between my supporting documents and my narrative? So what are those things? So you need to be able to prepare yourself. Ask yourself, do I need a witness? And who can be that I need to inform the board about? And what would this witness speak about? And then talk to the witness and prepare yourself and get ready. So basically, these are all things that are extremely important in preparing for yourself for a hearing, even before you speak with your counsel and that kind of thing. And Adrianna?
Yes, so absolutely. And also another aspect is, to meet with your counsel for document review and preparation ahead of the hearing. So this one is helpful in terms to review the documents, right? Just to talk about consistency, that the documents are going according to what the narrative says, right? So there shouldn't be any discrepancies. Or if there are discrepancies, right? Sometimes there might be a reason of why there might be a discrepancy, or sometimes when reviewing documents, we ask questions, right? Because we ask questions in terms of like you say, if this doesn't make sense to us, we think how this is going to make sense to a member, right? That they're going to have the file in front of him or her and see that Oh, I think I'm lost.
No, that's okay. That's okay, Adrianna. That's okay. Oh, yeah, you know, that's excellent. Thank you for doing that. And you know, I just wanted to also let people know that, you know, for our office, you know, we do most of our preparations right now virtually because of, you know, we all know what's going on out there with COVID-19 and everything. And what I also wanted to say was that we need to, I mean, claimants need to ensure that they have the originals of their documents ready. Any document they are unable to get, they need to have reasons why they were unable to get the documents. Did you make efforts? Did you take steps to get them? That's important. So having originals ready, including the envelope that your documents came in from overseas, you need to have all those in place as well. And Adrianna, want to talk about making sure you attend your hearing promptly on time?
Yes. That's extremely important, especially, right, because nowadays we are using Microsoft Teams as a how the hearings has been conducted. So it's important that, you know, the client gets familiar with this platform, and, you know, they have the links and they connect. Normally it's 15 minutes before the scheduled time, so they can, you know, be able to check their audio, their video. So the connectivity, right, as well, so they don't have any issues through the hearing. Because sometimes, you know, through mid-hearing, you know, the device can go off if they don't have a charger, or the audio issues, or, you know.
I agree with you totally. And the last point I have here, which is basically, you have to be prepared. You have to know how to answer questions. This is important, because it is important because cultural issues come in here sometimes on how we answer questions, and you know, you need to relax. I know it's tough. I know it's difficult. Don't get me wrong. So it's easier for me to say that, but you just need to take a deep breath. And anxiety can, you know, it's not a good thing. If you know that you've been going through some psychological issues and all those things, make sure you get documents from your psychologists, from your doctors, and all those things. All those things are important, and but you need to know how to answer questions. There are some questions that just require a yes or no. That's it. Like I always say, if I ask you, did you have breakfast today? Say that yes or no. You don't have to tell me stories that I opened the fridge and there was no food in the fridge, and I called my first child and she was not answering and I was angry and this and that. No stories. Did you have breakfast today? Yes or no? Then you keep quiet. Then there are questions that require short answers, meaning basically something as an example. What did you have for breakfast? I had rice, beans, and toast. And that's it. And that's all you had. That's all you speak to. Then there are questions that require long answers, detailed answers. And something like the rice you had this morning, how did you cook it? Then you need to be able to speak to that. So these are all important things. You need to be able to speak to that in detail. And where I see some people struggle is, again, sometimes it's a cultural issue, in the sense that, you know, there are people from some culture whereby, you know, speaking at length about certain things, I mean, it's not something that they're used to. So tell me about your husband. And they basically just say, he's nice, he's a good person, and that's it. And in some other cultures, they expect you to be detailed, you know, name, date of birth, where he was born, parents, that kind of thing. So you need to be able to speak to some of these things, and don't speculate about anything. Address the questions as on, don't speculate, and ask for breaks if you need breaks. And, you know, just relax and do your best and be consistent all through. If you don't know the answer to a question, just say you don't know. Do not make up an answer. Okay, if you have forgotten an answer, just be honest and say, I have forgotten. And that's the way, you know, generally people should prepare for their hearings in a nutshell. We just hope that this little video, Adrianna, before I end this, do you have anything else to say briefly before I just end it?
Yeah, I agree with you. I just remember these stories that you say, like these analogies, right? About, you know, when giving testimony, it's like a rubber band.
Yes.
Right? So
yes.
The rubber band, if you expand it, it will be the same rubber band.
Yes.
But if you add another band, that now becomes two. And this comes same with the testimony, right? You can expand on some of the details when, you know, the member asks you for more details. But then if when you're giving details, you're adding extra, is now when it becomes an issue.
Absolutely. And thank you for that. I just look for a rubber band because that's always an interesting. This is the rubber band.
Yes.
You know, this is one rubber band, and then so that's your story. So basically, I say in my story that I had rice for breakfast. I did not tell people the kind of rice I had for breakfast. I just said I had rice. That's my story. And but at the hearing, the member asked me, "What kind of rice did you have?" And I said to the member, I had jollof rice. You know, jollof rice is good. For those of you who might not know, that's cool. That's cool. So you might want to try jollof rice. But seriously, you know, jollof rice. So you are not adding to your story by saying that. You are just expanding what is already written. That I had rice. So the member just wanted to know the kind of rice you had, and you said jollof rice. However, if you now say I also had beans or yam, which means you are now adding another rubber band to that. That makes two. That is not good because some members will tell you, why did you not put rice or beans in your story before you? So you know, I love stories, but we'll start a storytelling session sometime. But so guys, I hope you've been able to gain one or two things from this short session. And I hope I wish you all we wish you all the best. On behalf of Top Market Attorneys, we wish you all the best in your hearings, and just stay focused, stay cool, and do your best. And you can only do your best. All right. So all the best. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.
All right.